Hello, my friends. Before we get started, many thanks to Perfect World for sponsoring this video. They've helped out my channel a whole ton, so Perfect World, you guys are good guys over there. And if you haven't seen any of my similar sponsored videos before, this is how it works. This is not a review. I'm not going to give it a score or anything. They just wanted me to kind of showcase the game, kind of show it off, tell you what it's about, and give my completely honest, early impressions of the game. So that is what I'm going to do. And I got to tell you, I get offers like every single day. I get offers for various sponsorships, usually like mobile games, sometimes other Switch games. I don't accept most of them because they just don't, like, I really, I want my sponsorships to be something that I think my fans might enjoy. I want it to at least fit in some way, at least in some way. But then when this game came along, I could not resist because this fits in very many ways. When I saw this game, I was like, oh yeah, this is one I want to do. Well, let's jump right into it. Obviously, one of the first things that jumps out at you in basically any game is the visual style. And like, oh my gosh, this game has a super duper interesting visual style. I really love it. Like, so you're this little guy and you're like in a cell or a prison or something. A big giant robot comes and lets you out. And like, you go out into this world and everything is like, it's really natural. There's a lot of nature, but then there's all this robotic stuff. It's like this perfect kind of marriage between the natural and the technological. And it's really fascinating. Like, everything is kind of plants and rocks and robots and electronic stuff. And that's always been a kind of style that I've really liked. I've always loved the kind of ruins that have been overgrown, but like old robots and stuff that are rusted over. And I really do like it. It really meshes with me. And then of course, like, it blurs the lines even more because you'll have like these sections of what seem to be just regular earth and rock and grass that will move around as though they have been roboticized, you know what I mean? Like, they'll rise and drop and platforms will raise and stuff, and that kind of gives it a much deeper kind of surrealism to the world, kind of meshes those two styles together even further. Gameplay wise, Hob is a lot like Zelda on the surface. You might even go as far as to call it a Zelda-like, which is never ever a bad thing in a game. In fact, it's a very good thing in my opinion. You're running around, it's a top-down game, you got your sword swinging, you're running around, you're solving puzzles, you're looking for secrets. Like, it's very basic core. It is a lot like a Zelda game. But like any good Zelda-like, it kind of bases its identity on that core concept, that core kind of Zelda experience, but then expands upon it so much more in every direction, and really has, in the end, it really has its own identity. It just adds so much more to the experience. One of the great things about it that I like is the combat kind of complexity. It is like the top-down sword swinging thing. You can just run up to guys and swing your sword, but you can also lock onto them, so you can kind of pivot around them. And so far, all of the enemies that I have faced have been really just interesting. Like, you've got your regular little guys that you just run up to and hit, but then you've got guys with like shields and armor and stuff. You gotta check out their attack patterns, you gotta memorize them, you gotta look for an opening, that kind of thing. So far, it's really fun and strategic, and like, I always, so far, have really looked forward to every time like a bigger guy shows up. I'm just like, oh yes, yes, I get to beat this. I don't know, like, something about the combat has really clicked with me. I'm really enjoying it. You got like a dodge roll, which is always great, because then you're really fine-tuning your attacks and how you react to their attacks, and I don't know, it's very good. It's very satisfying so far. And in combat, you can also use a number of different abilities, which leads me into, oh, it's coming. Here it is, it's coming. Oh, this game has upgrades. You know that Arlo loves upgrades. So when you kill bad guys, these weird robot creature guys, you get like XP kind of a thing that you can spend on new abilities in the store. And there are all sorts of different unique abilities. Some just kind of alter your stats, make a certain attack stronger, but then some, there's one where you can like teleport behind guys so you can hit them. So they very much alter battle in a very big way, you know what I mean? So I'm always kind of trying to be really careful about what I choose and like what kind of style I want to go for when I'm fighting dudes. On top of that, you can even collect parts to upgrade your sword. You can get different outfits to put on. I feel like I've barely scratched the surface as far as like the different stuff I can do and unlock in this. So that's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited to move forward and see what other kinds of abilities I can get. And speaking of abilities, you might have noticed that this little guy right here, one of his arms is a giant robot arm. That's at the very early on in the game. game, he loses his arm. A very nice robot man gives him his arm to use, and he's very good at using it right away. And so like all of your like special abilities are in that arm, and like there are a couple combat abilities, you know, you can punch guys. So far from what I've played, it's mostly down to their progression abilities, you know what I mean? And that's another one of those very Zelda-like things, is you have this world, I don't know, you wouldn't call it an open world, but it's a world that you unlock by getting different abilities, and like, oh, like now I can do this, now I can hit this kind of button, and then you can move through. And then of course it's very, very satisfying in any game when you find yourself in some weird place, but then you hit a button and all of a sudden like, oh, now I have a shortcut back to where I was before. So the more you play, the more you branch out and you kind of open up this world, and it's kind of like you're claiming it as your own, you know, you're kind of dominating this world, and you can go wherever you please. And of course, just getting new abilities to unlock new areas and interact with the world in new different ways is just very satisfying. It's just it's a very great formula that I've always really, really enjoyed. So like all together, if I had to pick one thing that stood out the absolute most, like if I had to zero it down to one thing, it would be the visuals. But because they're just very unique, and they just kind of fit my tastes in a very, very big way. But overall, if I didn't have to pick, I would say that, like, for the most part, it's not any one single thing about this game that is kind of catching my interest. It's everything kind of put together. It's actually quite impressive how many boxes this game is ticking for me so far. You know what I mean? Like, just everybody has different tastes, but man, this game right here, like, you got Zelda kind of gameplay with a deeper combat that's a lot of fun. You got puzzles, you got ability-based progression, you've got a big world, and like, oh man, this game is just crawling with secrets. Like, it rewards exploration a ton. Like, anytime you go off the beaten path and you think you're gonna find something, you're gonna find something, which is great. So you got like the secrets and the exploration, you've got upgrades, you've got the awesome visual style with the fantasy and the robots and stuff. It's just, yeah, it's just really impressive how many boxes it ticks in the Arlo taste test something. So I can say with great honesty that I am having a great time, and I'm very, very eager to keep playing it. Like I said, not gonna give it a score. This is not a review. I haven't even beaten the whole game yet, but I've played through the first, I don't know, handful of areas or worlds or something, and so far I'm having a great time. It is pretty darn cool. I'm pretty darn eager to keep moving forward and see what happens. If you have thoughts about this game, if you've played it or it looks cool to you or whatever, I would love to hear about it down in the comments. Once again, thank you so much to Perfect World for sponsoring this video. You can find info on the game and how to buy it and all that stuff down in the description, probably popping up mobile cards, probably some in the end cards. I'll put links all over the place. Just throw them all over the place like confetti. Links to this game if you're interested in checking it out or buying it yourself. Thank you for watching, and you have yourself a hobsome day. Oh, that's not good. Hey, you hob yourself a great day. I'm gonna think of something here. Just give me a second. I hob you have a good day. It's just like the other one. I hope to see you runic games. Oh, okay. No, I'm done. See you later.